What's up, YouTube? What's up, Extreme Gainz family? I'm Chuck. This is Extreme Gainz. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take anything I say as such. Hey, listen, let's update. This is AMC. I updated the Scenario 1 video. Let's update the Scenario 2 double bottom video for the new followers, for the new subscribers. Let's do that. So what you see on the screen, this is an older screenshot. Obviously we have like, I don't know, 3-4 more days added to this, but essentially we've been range bound and flat right here, so it doesn't make much of a difference other than visually right now, which I'll get to the current charts, but I wanted to give you an overview of what it is. So this is AMC from its IPO until January 2021 run-up. It was in a 7-year fractal descending wedge in this repetitive algorithmic pattern that I've identified, and it is in the exact same descending wedge pattern, internal pattern, algo pattern, fractal shape pattern that it was back then. Okay. That's where this originated from when I identified this out here from its IPO till now, or I'm sorry, from its IPO till January 2021. And when we broke the pennant at the time trend, this became a macro fractal shape. This then became that descending wedge, and that's when it was identified on my part. So with that being said, what had happened here, and I want to explain this. And again, this is my part of my proof that this algorithm has been running for the entire existence of AMC as a publicly traded company. They had it up to $36, and they, over the span of 7 years, in an attempt to bury this company, got it down to $1.91 before a few things kind of all came and hit at the same time. Whether you want to think it's the algorithm that was, I guess, planned to do it the whole time, or the perfect storm all kind of hit at once. I like to believe that. And I'm going to explain that. So what had happened in this scenario is in this area, and inside of it, you know this from watching my past videos, and if you haven't, please go watch all the videos for context. This is going to make no sense if you don't. Do you and me both the favor by doing that. It's gonna help you tremendously if you haven't seen it and this is the first video of mine you're watching. Please go check out those videos. I think it will, I know it will, really put things in perspective and give you a better understanding of what it is that I'm talking about. So in this, we have the double-double, which is the mini W here, the W here, inside of this big W, right? And most of these fractals have W's in them, right? I know there's one here. It's a little funky, but it's there. And then the box top formations that I talk about, in the other video videos that I've made of AMC to give you a different perspective where I highlight the box top portion of the algorithm fractal shapes versus the descending wedge version of it. And I did that separately as well with the Scenario 1 and Scenario 2 so that I can just coincide it like that when I do these videos for you guys. So, but regardless, it's the same fractal shape, the same fractal pattern, no matter how I highlight it for you. It's just my way of separating them visually for you as a viewer. So anyways, what we know is these fractal descending wedges typically all play out with a giant W in them. And no exception here, right? However, what happened here was when I said about the perfect storm, obviously with the shorting and then the retail buying that came in and everything that kind of happened and overloaded the system, and then we got this run up. There was also this technical thing that happened called a confluence of support, and that is where two or more of the support lines converged on one place, therefore providing a sturdy, steady launch pad for this thing to make its run up, the initial run up of the full run up in January. I believe it was one run up with 2 legs, this consolidation period in between. And also, yeah, it was a bounce off this megaphone that I'm going to get into in a minute. So anyways, I believe this as well is where we're at, and what's going to happen again in this scenario is this double bottom would come down here, and we have another confluence of support right here that's potentially going to occur again. What's ironic is it's in the same location at the end of the same mid to macro fractal shape of this yellow descending wedge that is in the same position inside of its respective megaphone housing pattern or structure, which is what's around this right now. It's the blue line, and I'm going to show you from I'm going to give you an overhead view here. Let's go to trading view real quick here. Let's go to the weekly. Good morning, by the way, if I didn't say that. I hope everybody's wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, as they say. I'm not. I didn't sleep for shit. We had a Discord call last night. I would have done this and put this out to y'all last night, but we had a Discord call that ran, I think, to 9:30, almost 10 o'clock. And then by the time I got in bed, I only slept a couple hours. Today's live stream is going to be interesting. Speaking of which, on the live stream today, we're going to be doing a live BS call with the Discord members live for the morning session. So come check that out. It's going to be fun. We're just going to have open forum, a BS session. But anyways, this is the mega overhead view of AMC from its IPO till current time. And as you can see, it's been in this mega macro megaphone structure or widening mouth ascending wedge structure. And it's a very rare structure that happens, but it lends itself to highly volatile stocks. And the movement that you get in these is typically ping pong, right? We ping off the resistance, we pong off the bottom, off the support. And then we ping off the resistance, then we pong off the support. Now what's happened in this one, because we went parabolic, we've now been, since January, we've been in this, again, it's another ascending widening, but it's also another megaphone. And that's the same thing for you guys. I just call it a megaphone from now on, okay? It's another inverted, megaphone that's happening, which is, I believe, and it already has once, I guess 1, 2, 3, now the third time. So we got a trend on it from a macro perspective, provided support for the movement since January. And we're in this now, right? And we have 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. And if we fulfill this double bottom scenario, we'll have our 4th touch. And at the same time, we're going to have a confluence of support there again. And I'm going to show you that here when I get the other chart side by side. Let me do that. Let me do this. Come here. Yeah. There it is. All right. So same thing here, right? We're looking at, and there's I don't have the macro. Well, do I? Go to the daily. Yep, there it is. So same scenario is happening here, right? We're in this descending wedge, right? Just like this. Same thing that's here. This is the 7-year. This is the 7-month, and that's what I think has happened is this has been compressed into a 7-month fractal that is obviously identical to the one that played out for over 7 years. So here's the double bottom scenario and the confluence that I believe in this scenario is going to happen again and provide us that launch pad and support to get a good push up out of here as it did in January. Now, in the single bottom scenario, I was starting to kind of lean towards that temporarily until I kind of dug into this. And we had a conversation in Discord last night about and I brought this up, and so I've been watching AMC since last December, really. Every single day, I was in a position health wise that I had to occupy myself. So I dove in and started learning and was obsessed and kind of still am with these charts. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think I've become very good at this. But regardless, I watch this move daily since then. And what I have noticed, and this is going to ruffle some feathers, but what I've noticed over time is that the moves to the downside have become exaggerated and over exaggerated as time has went on. Excuse me. And I think it's in part that people have started swinging this thing more than was being done in the recent past. You can attribute it to whatever you want. I think that's one of the main contributors that's been going on. I think as well as I think market makers realize that, and they exploit that by selling into it even more in those vulnerable times, which then overextends these downside moves. So when it made me think, because we were talking about that last night briefly in the Discord call. And then I thought, let me come back to this chart this morning, and I want to look at the double bottom scenario. And I wanted to update, and I apologize for not getting it out to you guys last night, but that's why. I was tied up doing that, and so I wanted to get it out here early this morning to you. Hopefully this is out by like 6:30 to you guys this morning, so everybody should have it stateside here where they wake up, and the rest of y'all across the pond should have it before you go to bed. So what I did is I looked at it, and I want to look at this with you here, and I want to show you what I saw. And I want you to keep in mind that conversation, right? That the combination of selling into the downside to over exaggerate. And if you go look, and I encourage you to do so, go check out your charts. Go back prior to July and look at the downside moves. You'll see that after July, and I think that's where I really noticed it, was from July on, we've had this over exaggeration of these downside moves and overextension of them, and it has progressively gotten worse as we've gone on. Excuse me. So go check that out just to see it for yourself. But this is what I wanted to show you. With that in mind, I came back and started looking at this chart. I said, oh, yeah, we're still in the same place we've been, right? We're not quite, it's like I keep getting asked, are we there yet? Can we make the determination whether or not it's a single bottom and the head and shoulders, or we're going to come back down at some point here and make the double bottom? We're not there yet. We're still probability-wise of either and or both happening 50-50 right now. We're right there as far as I'm concerned. You can make your own determination as far as I'm concerned, and I'm going to show you why. So with that in mind, look here. You have the push down, right? And then you have where it caught support right here. And this check up, down, and the swoop up to rejection of the descending wedge, right? You have the push down, over exaggeration of the move right here. You have this check up, this push down, and this swoop to rejection and resistance of the descending wedge, right? Then you have the rejection and the push down to the bottom of the descending wedge. Then you have the rejection and the push down to the bottom of the descending wedge. Then you have three bottom touches. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you have this upside trend. Then you have a move up, and you have an upside trend. You have 3 points. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you have the move down. Move down. You have the cup over. You have the cup over. You have the mirrored, inverted version of the cup over right next to it. Looks like we're creating that mirrored inverted cup over portion right next to it. Now this is where both of them are still gonna, and you can see the inverted head and shoulders here, right? It's on a slant downtrend, shoulder, neck, head, long neck, shoulder, right? Same thing. Now the next move on either one of them is upside, right? I showed you that yesterday in the video. Now this one here, the head and shoulders kind of moves more straight up and down, but I don't want to get too technical right now because that's not where the invalidation and validation point is going to take place. I believe both of these are in either scenario, one or two. The next short-term move is upside, right? And then right here is where we're going to be able to determine the Dollar Tree scenario. Scenario one should be, whether it comes up here and then, but either one of them, they're going to pull back a little bit, right? So even if this is Dollar Tree, it's going to pull back, but then it's going to go back up again, where this one's going to go down. And I've said this, and I've said this, and I've said this, and I called this a long time ago. I was tracking it out, and I said, I think at that point, with both of these comparison charts that I'm using for scenario one and scenario two, this was the point in which I was talking about back then that I thought would be the validation point or invalidation point for both of these potential scenarios playing out. So I think that's where it's going to be. But I hope you can see how and understand how this is all, in my eyes, still this exact chart, just as this is the really close exact chart to the Dollar Tree single bottom scenario. I started looking as if I was trying to find another fractal, because I thought to some extent we were potentially invalidating this one, and we're not whatsoever. We're actually just as on point now as we've ever been, if not more. I think by taking that into consideration and looking at the actual movement of this and the characteristics of it that I just pointed out, that it obviously lends itself to we're still in this scenario. We're still in the double bottom scenario as well. So I'm still looking at both of these equally and with equal attention. And I do believe in the short term, either way, I think we should see a move to the upside short term. When I say short term, I mean like the next week or so. And then in either scenario, if we are to see some sort of rejection here, at the 28, you know, 28, 25 rejection, and we continue to the downside, I already have the fractal ready to go to show you that that's the one that we're doing. That would be the only other diversion from scenario 1 and scenario 2 that we would have, and I already have the fractal queued up, ready to go if that ends up being the scenario, and that's what I'm kind of watching for today. I think if we get a rejection, that's where it's going to be, somewhere in that area, somewhere in the 28, and it looks like we are getting rejected this morning here, just right around 28.15, 28.13. But I would say up to 28.25, or maybe even up to 28.50 would be the rejection area here on this, on a micro standpoint, for those movements if you're watching them. And if we do reject and continue down, I'm ready to go. I'll put a video out immediately if I see that, as soon as I buy my puts to ride the rest of the way down. I will put a video out for you guys showing that fractal so you can see what that's going to look like. That would be the only other variable in this, in my opinion. I think either way, we're going to see a move to the upside short term. We'll make that determination after the little pullback. If we continue downside at that point versus continue upside, then that will be the validation invalidation point, as well as keeping an eye on the market. If the market is to have its pullback and or correction / crash If that were to happen, that is going to affect this as well. That would be an overriding catalyst, I believe. So that is and I think that, as I showed in the video yesterday, lends itself to the single bottom scenario. So we already know that that's where that would come into play. So I think we're prepared, people, Extreme Gainz fam. I think we are 100% wrapping our minds around all of this. I am. I hope, by doing this, it does it for you. I'm going to leave the video there at that. I may have forgot a thing or two. I think I kind of covered everything. But if you've made it this far through the video, I appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, I would greatly appreciate it if you would interact with this video. Like the video, comment on it. It really does help push the video out. I notice when that happens, the views go up. I didn't believe in the analytical stuff before, but now that I'm doing this, it's 100% legitimate. It does make a difference. So if you would do that for me, I'd appreciate it. Also, if you're not following me yet or you're not subscribed to this channel, do so. If this stuff interests you, this is what I do. Give me a sub, give me a follow, and go back and watch all my videos. I keep saying that to a lot of the newcomers that come in and ask a bunch of questions that have already been really dove into and explained and broken down. Do us both that favor so that we can keep moving forward. Go watch those videos, and then if you have any questions after that, let me know what it is. I'll obviously know that you've watched the video by the questioning, and then we'll talk about it then. As well as, if this is your first time watching any of my content, I also live stream Monday through Friday, market open to market close. It's growing as well. Yesterday, I think, was our biggest day. We had, I think, 1,300 or 1,500 people in and out throughout the day. So that is growing as well. Come join us. It's a good time. We have a great group of people in there. Yeah, so if you need a place to go or want to try something different, come check us out. I appreciate it. I'm going to get this published and get it out to you guys here as quick as I can here this morning, and appreciate all the support. Hope you enjoy the rest of your morning. We will see you, or I will see you, in either the next video or in the live stream in a few hours here. Talk to you then, guys. Have a good rest of your morning. Later.